Hi queens, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Sexiest in the City podcast. I am your host, Fatima Ziwan. As you guys can see from the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about FOMO. So FOMO is fear of missing out. A lot of people, especially in this day and age, are feeling more FOMO than you know. And I want to talk about how we can overcome FOMO and actually start to be present in our own life and be the main character of our own lives and stop looking at what other people have and constantly feeling like your life falls short. At the end of the day, I'm a human being and I've had my fair share of FOMO. I know exactly what it feels like to look at other people and feel like your life falls short and that you are behind in your own life. I want to give you a little bit backstory of my upbringing and just how my childhood was. I came from a very sheltered environment. My family, very traditional conservative Muslim. So it was mosque every Friday, maybe every motherfucking Saturday. We was really on it. I wasn't really exposed to some of the things that my friends were exposed to, like drinking and smoking and partying, and even within my community, because I also grew up with the same type of community. So I didn't really have interest in that lifestyle or really give a fuck. Like kind of like club culture type shit. I didn't have any type of fucking interest. But it wasn't until a little bit of high school started. I didn't really ever feel like I was missing out in high school, which I am actually blessed to have even had that high school experience, because I feel like a lot of people get peer pressured into doing things or being a part of certain groups that they don't want to. It doesn't even align with who they are, but because they're easily influenced, that they end up falling into these groups, and these groups end up influencing how their personality is and how they behave, and it just starts to become an icky situation. I'm kind of grateful that I stayed in my own lane and I loved the things that I was into, but it wasn't until I had my baby. I had my baby when I was 19 years old, and so I had already graduated high school. I had gotten pregnant. So since it was COVID, we had our graduation in like August of 2020, and or July of 2020, which I don't be fucking remembering. Low-key, the time be flying, but so I ended up getting pregnant, I want to say like a month after graduation, and then I was pregnant all the way until I gave birth at the end of May. So literally like my first year, like I guess my first college year, which I didn't go to college, so that was just what life was looking like. Instead of going off to college, getting a dorm and going to the Halloween parties, like the college parties, and going to the football games and the football rallies, having that American college experience, I didn't have that, and I didn't want it. But I think right like in the middle of like all the postpartum, like just the emotions and my hormones and everything, and then looking on social media, especially on social media, you're seeing so many people not have kids, be able to live a spontaneous life. We're not in high school anymore, so we kind of have more freedom, and we're 18, we're 19, like we're grown. And I just felt like I was just sitting back or sitting on the sidelines and watching everybody start to go out and branch out and live their fucking life, and that genuinely brought me depression. Like it literally made me sad as fuck, because we only have one life, right? And like I said with my childhood, like I already had honestly a pretty like it was a pretty chill childhood, but like I didn't have that coming of age experience. Like, you know, whenever you're younger and you're watching all those movies, Paper Towns and all those like throwback 2014, 2015, 2016 like coming of age movies, or even the 2000 ones, but y'all know what I'm talking about, where it's like there's a character, they go into high school and then they meet friends and they have this like crazy high school experience. And I never felt like I had that. I kind of felt like I missed out on that, and that I'm finally an adult, so why not still create that? And so I just felt like I was just missing out on a life, and I felt FOMO on that life, and I didn't know how to bring I didn't know how to like create that for myself. I just felt like it was too late, I guess. And obviously I know that wasn't true, but it was like the postpartum depression talking, and it was like constant negative feedback loop in my brain. But that's what I was telling myself, so that's what I literally believed. And so it literally put me down this spiral of depression and anxiety and feeling like I'm behind in life, and feeling like people are living their best fucking lives. They're traveling, they're doing all types of shit, and I'm just stuck behind and getting left behind. And that's what it feels like. Social media has made FOMO 1,000 times worse for people, because not only do we have the human emotion of trying to be better and trying to improve our lives, our brains are meant to survive. So comparison and like looking for competition and looking around, that's a normal feeling to have. I think whenever it starts to become toxic and you start self-sabotaging and being hurtful to other people, that's when shit gets toxic. Your brain is meant to scan out your environment and scan how you can live a comfortable and safe life and level up in life. But when you start looking at social media and thinking that this is every day for people, like every day we're traveling, every day we're living the best life, and every day we're on this like high of life, that's unrealistic because you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And on top of that, social media is literally a highlight reel. Like, everybody knows this. I think, like, it's so funny because I think we're all aware of this. Like, we all know social media is a highlight reel, but sometimes it does get to us. Whenever you're sitting at home, you low-key bed rotting, you're low-key going through like a slump period, a depressive period, and then you go online or see what everybody's up to, and then you see that they're on a beach or they're hanging out with friends at the club, and like you just feel like you're stuck rotting at home, and it can make you feel like shit about yourself. When you have so much FOMO, that's a sign that you need to embrace your own priorities. Like, that is the symptom of what not embracing your own priorities looks like. If you don't care about your life, you don't care about your responsibilities, you don't care about constantly leveling up, the symptom of that is FOMO. It's feeling like you're missing out because you're not taking a minute to look what's within, to look what you can control. So that's why in this week's episode, I came up with different ways that you can embrace JOMO. The solution to your fear of missing out is having joy of missing out. And I want to show you guys how we can embrace that and how we can not give a fuck. Like, there comes a certain point where, especially now that we're in our 20s, you start to realize how fast time goes. Like, one minute, you know, you're in high school, the next minute you're graduating, the next minute you're signing up for college classes, the next minute you walk in the stage for college, the next minute you interning, and it's like you start to realize, like, oh my God, life is going fast and I cannot slow it down. There's so much anxiety and so much pressure to figure out your life and figure out what the fuck you gonna do with your life. Like, that's already on top of all the other fucking problems we have. So it starts to become too much and too much to handle. So in this week's episode, I came up with some simple and easy ways that you guys can embrace JOMO in your every single day life, being a main character and a side character. So when you're a main character, that looks like being present, loving your life, having joy in your life, having gratitude, focusing on your own growth, and being present. Just being present in your life. But being a side character looks like constantly comparing your life to other people's lives, anxiety, depression, constantly gossiping, jealousy, envy, and feeling like you're behind in your own life. So those are the two differences between main character energy and side character energy. You gotta think and ask yourself and be real with yourself. Like, where do you fall? Like, do you guys feel like you're a main character in your life? Do you feel like you're constantly trying to level up? You're constantly trying to better yourself? You're more grateful for your life? You're more present? Or do you feel like you can find yourself feeling behind in life, feeling a little bit envious, just feeling like you're always having to compare yourself to other people? So sit down and really ask yourself and be real with yourself. If you can be real with yourself and keep it honest, that's when you can start making changes, because you're self-aware and you understand that you're not perfect and there's changes to be made. And so we can start making those changes. So I came up with 5 ways to embrace JOMO. Number 1 is to flower your own garden. Stop comparing your life to others and start focusing on personal growth, self-care, and your life rather than waiting on others to fulfill it. You should be so busy with your own life to ever worry about someone else's. Okay, what about my own garden? What about the things that matter to me? What about my dreams? What about taking care of myself? Start to flower your own garden, and that looks like taking care of how you look, taking care of how you feed yourself, reading books, having hobbies, creating friends, creating a life, literally being so busy with all of these things that you physically don't have the time to be thinking about what the fuck is on someone else's plate, because you're so consumed with building your own life. From the minute you were born up until this moment, every hard thing you went through and every great thing you went through that with yourself, and you have always had yourself, and you will always have yourself. And like I've said, you can have companions and you can have people around you, but you will always have you. And so the strongest relationship you should have with anybody on earth should be with yourself. And to create a strong bond with yourself, that starts with taking care of yourself, giving a fuck about yourself. And I think that if you're so consumed with someone else's journey and not your own journey, your garden is dead, babe. Like, is dead. Like, the plants, we got to trim up the plants. We got to see if the soil's still good. We got to get the fucking, the fertilizer. It's time to like put your motherfucking sleeves up and look at the motherfucking garden and look at the dead flowers and shit. Because that's what happens when you don't prioritize yourself and when you don't realize that you have your own fucking life. You are meant for so much, and you shouldn't sit down and be a sideline character to somebody else's life and just watch everybody do better while you're just staying stuck. That's not fair to you, and that's not fair to your fucking inner child. Because I know when you were younger, you dreamed of what it would be like to be 20 and 30 and be older, and that freedom that came with being older. But then once we got older, we realized that we live in a fucked system and that it requires us to work. There is no serendipity without hard work. There is no fun. There is no fruition or nothing without hard work. And so if you don't take a minute to look at your motherfucking garden, look at what we're trying to plant. What seeds are we trying to start planting now so we can start to see those flowers bloom and start actually taking care of yourself? And you know you're taking care of yourself when you don't even have a thought of other people because you're so busy. Like, I have this project to do. I have to go to a Pilates class on Thursdays and Tuesdays. I like to go on my morning runs on Sundays. I have to cook dinner at this time. Oh, I need to finish that one book. I need to catch up with my girls for drinks on Friday. Like, you should be so fucking busy with your own life that there's respectfully, I don't give a fuck about you, and I don't really give a fuck about what you got going on, because my life is so fucking busy with the things that I need to get done and the things that are important to me that there ain't no motherfucking time, and there's no space, there's none of that. Like, there's literally no time to be worried about you and where you're at in your life. When you feel FOMO, it's because you have too much time on your hands. You are too much on social media. You are too much in other motherfucking people's business. And you are just wasting your time worrying about shit that will not benefit you. You are not going to be at those tables. And that's not a bad thing, because you don't know what blessings you have waiting behind your doors. And start prioritizing what you want to prioritize. Your friendships, yourself, taking care of yourself, loving yourself, continuing to become smart. Because as a woman, yes, we are beautiful and we are very intuitive people, but knowledge is power. And as a woman, you win in this game when you have more knowledge, because with more knowledge comes more power. Number 2 is focusing on what you can control. The things that I can control is myself, my actions, my thoughts. The things I can't control is other people's actions, other people, and what people think. All you can control is yourself. All you can control is what you think every single day, and then you control what you do every single day. Anything else is out of your control. Time is out of your control. People are out of your control. How people treat you is out of your control. You physically need to release the need to control your external environment. This is my theory. My theory is when we grow up and we're kids, we have somebody taking care of us, somebody that makes sure we eat dinner, they make sure we have a roof over our head, they just make sure that we straight. So when we get older, that parental role becomes you. And I think that you are trying to control external because you think external will have some type of control over your own life. That if your boss wasn't such a bitch, or you weren't around fake ass people, or whatever the external thing may be, you think that if you can change the external, that will change your internal. But that is completely fucking backwards. The most power you will ever have in life is when you start to realize that it's all what you can control every single day. And that really frees you, because then you stop holding these expectations for people and you start holding those expectations for yourself. You're only in control of yourself. Like, you can't go and fucking control people, because if when you try to control people, you're gonna see what the fuck gonna happen. It's gonna be conflict, it's gonna be bumping heads, and it's not gonna work out for you. You're not gonna get what the fuck you want, and quite frankly, it's a waste of fucking time. If you want to start having fun, create a schedule for yourself that aligns with that. Have more fun, go out and take more pictures, go to more coffee shops, have more solo dates, create a life for yourself, because you're gonna sit back and you're gonna feel like you're missing out on something, while meanwhile you have a whole life that's waiting for you to start living it. Start realizing that everything that you will ever need is all within. Number 3 is putting down the phone. This one is a big one that even sometimes I have to catch myself. I feel like I'm a little bit too much online, and then I start to get intrusive thoughts of like, wait, okay, we're 24, where the fuck are we headed to? What the fuck is going on? And I start to have fire alarms going off in my head because I feel like I'm behind in my own life. That is a sign that the phone needs to get put the fuck down, lock it up, get it the fuck out of here, because it's all a bunch of fucking noise. It's all all a bunch of fucking noise. I seen David Goggins say, you can watch all the motivational videos. You can be inspired by your Pinterest folder. You can do all you gotta do on your phone, but it's gonna get to a point where you realize nobody's going to come out of this phone and save you but you. You need to put that shit the fuck down. Stop listening to all the noise, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, because you are here, you have a mission to get done, and anything else is just a fucking distraction. A lot of people are genuinely full of fucking shit. The things that you see online, a lot of the time, you would be fucking surprised how different people are in real life, the shit that they got going through, the debts that they're in. You don't literally know anything about people's lives. So for you to constantly sit there and consume media after media after media and fry your fucking brain receptors, anybody that you love has your phone number and they know where the fuck to reach you. They know that they could come and make some plans and y'all can go and have a little date and y'all can do y'all's little thing. Other than that, social media, all of that shit, it's a waste of fucking time. Less input, more output. Go out and physically do things with your life. I've seen this thing that Mel Robbins said where we spent 18 years of our lives going to school together and we had similar schedules. Like we had summer break, then the fall comes around, everybody's posting what their school schedules are, then we have school, and like everybody's living similar days, similar seasons. And so right when we graduate and we become adults, everybody goes different directions. Some people have children, some people go to the motherfucking army, some people travel halfway across the world, some people fucking die, like genuinely. So much shit changes after you walk that stage of high school that you do start to compare yourself to other people's lives, because for so long we were living the same life. And that's what Mel Robbins was talking about, of why when you turn 20 and you graduate, you feel like you're behind in life. And that's why so much people are trying to measure up their lives through the phone, because that's the only form of connection. It's the only way for your brain to tap in and see what everybody else is doing. I read How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and you need to disconnect from the external reality so you can start manifesting your life. You cannot every single morning plug in to social media, because then it's going to remind you of your spot in this current reality. If you are currently in a reality where you feel like you are a sideline character and you wake up and you tune your thoughts into social media, your brain is going to remind itself, this is the person I am. It is very important to have moments of quietness. So number 4 is practicing gratitude. Whenever you're in a moment of depression, anxiety, when you feel like you're behind in life, it's always important to have a gratitude journal, to sit down and write everything that has went right so far, all your accomplishments, all the things that you did even though you thought that you weren't going to be able to do it, so you can sit down and be grateful for all the things that you do have. Because there does get to a point in life where, yes, life is hard for you, but honestly, somebody's doing 10 times fucking worse than you, and somebody's doing 10 times fucking better than you, and that is the duality of life. You could think of the richest fucking person right now, and I promise you there is somebody fucking richer than them, doing better in life than them. Or you could just think about your own life and think about how many people don't have homes, don't have food, don't have a place to rest their head today, don't even have family because their family was fucking bombed in war. So I think life is all about perspective. You've already been blessed with so much, and you're so forced to look at what you're missing. And that's the thing with social media. They want you to feel like you're lacking, so you have nothing to do but buy and buy and buy and buy. Living in America and just being online is like living in a fucking ad campaign. Like everywhere you go, it's an ad. It's fucking someone trying to sell you something. I understand that bills got to be paid, but you cannot be naive. You cannot go on the internet and think that everything that someone's trying to sell to you, all this shit that you see online, is to better your life. I need to buy such and such to do better. You don't need fucking nothing to come up in life. You just need yourself, your soul, your spirit, your mind, your voice. Like, you don't need anything the fuck else but yourself. So to think that some external, some object, something out there can come and bring you happiness, a certain amount of money, having a big house, having a nice car, that will bring you happiness, that is such a backwards ass way of thinking. And you need to catch yourself and be humble, because there is somebody doing a million times fucking worse than you that would kill to be in your fucking shoes, and they would be in your shoes and get so much fucking further in life because they have that drive, because they know what it feels like to be at the bottom. Think about yourself, right? And if you could switch off and be some Nepo baby. Think about all the things that you would do because of the hardships you've went through now. Always have that perspective and always just be grateful for the things that you have now, the home that you have now, the way that your lungs can breathe healthily, the way that your body is healthy, your mind is healthy. You have so much drive, and the fact that you are so young and so intelligent and that you have a whole life ahead of you. Be grateful, okay? There are people on their deathbed just wishing they could have one more day. And I do think that perspective, like, yes, I know that there's times where you're like, okay, but my life is I don't want to be the bigger man. I don't want to always be grateful. I get it, but you have to clock your ego. You don't need anything but yourself to be happy. And so as long as you have yourself, look at all the things that you do have so you can be grateful and understand that you're not always lacking. You're not always down. You're not missing out. You have things too. Let's not sleep on the small wins. Society tries to push the most fucking insane shit ever. Like, you have to be fucking shredded, rich as fuck, not depressed, in a big Skyview apartment, having a fucking Mercedes Benz, living your best fucking life, having all the freedom in the world, having all the freedom to travel, yet have no job, or if you do have a job, you make 50 million an hour because you post online. The expectations, you guys, are fucking unrealistic, and I need you guys to hear that now so it feels like a breath of fresh air. Sit down and gratitude journal. I'm gonna put some gratitude prompts up on the screen right here, so if you guys want to screenshot and use any of these prompts, you guys can. And then if you also want to go on Google or on Pinterest, you can search up gratitude journal prompts. They'll literally have a bunch of journal prompts that you can sit down and write. The fifth and final way to embrace JOMO: create your own world. This is your world and we are fucking living in it. You have to be cocky, especially as a woman. You have to have that cockiness and realize, I'm that motherfucking bitch. I don't give a fuck who doesn't think of me in that way. And that's not even something, like I said, we gotta block the haters out. What do you do every day? What are your dreams? How are we gonna achieve them? How can you live your best fucking life every single day and create a world that you love living in? And creating your world can look like visioning, dreaming big, and shaping your reality. I love the idea of quantum physics. I love the idea that we exist in multiple parallel universes where there's a version of you that has everything you want and there's a version of you that's living in the fucking shithole. And when you can actually match the thoughts and the actions that the person in the reality that you want to be living in will experience, that is when you start to notice that your reality is physically shaping based off of what you think and based off of how you're acting. I think it took me having to go through that postpartum depression to feel that FOMO so I can realize that this is just a symptom of me not prioritizing my own needs and prioritizing my own life, because my life is already beautiful. And when you can realize that you are missing out on your own, like having fun, like I'm the fucking motion, like I control the traffic. That is literally what I tell myself. Like, this is my reality, and anybody that's in my reality would be fucking grateful to be in my fucking reality, because in this reality where I'm at, the grass greener wherever the fuck I'm at, and anybody that's sitting at my table is gonna fucking win. And I don't need to go look at what other people have or feel like I need that life. I want to be going on that trip, because nah, I'm the motherfucking fun. I'm gonna build a life that I enjoy, and that takes sitting down, being grateful for all I have, and sitting down and figuring out where the fuck I want to go and how the fuck I can control the way I get there. And anything else is noise. And if that noise is too loud that it distracts you from building a life that you enjoy and where you are the main character in your life, then that distraction needs to get the fuck out of here. It need to get the fuck out the motherfucking door. And you need to parent yourself and be like, no, this is not helping me anymore. It's not serving me anymore. And anything that doesn't serve me needs to get the fuck out, because I know that if I live in my purpose, it's not a matter of how, it's a matter of when. When you live in your purpose and are present every day and you're grateful for the life you have and you start embracing that main character motherfucking energy, nobody can fuck with you. Not even the enemy within yourself. Not even the negative thoughts of like, oh, but what about that? But what about that? Because you're so fucking busy visioning, dreaming, building, learning, just so consumed with your life and what you have to offer. It's a party every motherfucking day where I'm at. That's how you should feel. Feel like SpongeBob from SpongeBob SquarePants. Like, you don't want to be a Squidward being all like sad and gloomy about the fact that the world is fucking shit. The world is fucking shit. before your ass was here, the world gonna be shit after your ass is gone. So you might as well embrace everything. Because if you don't, you're going to be depressed and you're going to constantly feel like you're behind and that you're missing out on something, and that FOMO is going to kick your motherfucking ass. The cost of regret, the bill will come one day where you're going to realize you never did what you said you was going to do. You never acted. None of the shit that you said that was going to happen happened. And you're going to feel like, I wish I could have done it because I know now how much those things mean to me. But I think we're at a day and age now where we're so fucking aware that it's like, why not just start creating the life now? It literally just takes you deciding that everything's going to change now for shit to start changing now. That is literally how the domino effect works. When you come across a moment of FOMO and you feel like you're missing out compared to your peers, focus on how you take care of yourself. Focus on how you learn. Focus on going to the gym. Focus on dressing up. Focus on building a fucking fashion wardrobe. Focus on meeting friends that align to your values and creating deep and meaningful connections. Focus on growing. Focus on self-love. Focus on being the best fucking main character version of yourself. Focus what you tell yourself. Speak positively to yourself. Constantly uplift yourself and pay attention to yourself and your own life. And that is how you eliminate FOMO and you embrace JOMO. You embrace the joy of missing out because you know you're not missing out on shit, because the fun is wherever my 2 feet are. I don't need anybody else. I never have needed anybody else. Y'all weren't fucking on this earth with me when I got here. Y'all aren't gonna fucking be here when I'm in the ground. So no, I don't give a fuck. I don't need to measure where I'm at in life to other people's versions of life, because like, what's meant for me will make my soul happy, because that is just how the universe is. And there is abundance for everybody. You will never be lacking anything because there's an abundant amount of resources for every single person to have. And we live in a world where they try to convince us that we have to be scarce, we have to be survival because we cannot have these things. But that is not necessarily true, and you have to shift your mindset. You have to shift your perspective. It's okay if you haven't found a purpose yet. You will along the way. So you guys, if you're in your 20s, you feel like you're behind, you feel like you don't know what's going on, just invest in yourself, invest in your gardens, and I promise you guys, along the way, you will start to discover yourself and you will start to build a life that you truly, absolutely fucking love. I hope you guys enjoyed. I post every single Thursday, and if you guys want to listen on the go, I do have my Spotify and podcast links down in the description. And yes, queens, if you are on the Spotify and podcast app, please follow and give me a 5-star rating, my queens. And if you guys are on the YouTube app, please subscribe, like, and share. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys next episode. Mwah. Peace and love. Bye, queens.